Ollie, along with hundreds of other Luton Town fans, say it's time for the corner flag post. Welcome back to our Hatters Walk. What do you think? Is it time up for Matt Bloomfield? He's been here 9 months now, and it looks as bad on the pitch as it ever does. We'll get Kevin and Mark's view on all of that, what went on at Lincoln in a second. Players are looking lost, and also we're still getting the ridiculousness of them trying to score the perfect goal. Why is that still happening, even though it was called out on here last week? Plus, we're trying to find a player that deserves some credit this season for how they are performing. Thank you very much for joining us. If you can squeeze 15 minutes of Luton chat into your life, please join our little community that we're growing here. Press the subscribe button. We can entertain you with lots of different views from Twitter, and we're going to put them to a panel who are going to tell us whether they're right or whether they're wrong. Hope you're both well. Mark, you were there in the stands at Lincoln. Is it time for Mr. Bloomfield to say cheerio?
No. It's not. There were really worrying signs. We always reference back to Middlesbrough last season, but there are really worrying signs. And as far as I'm concerned, the window's only shut 3 weeks ago. Gary Sweet said in the programme there's been £23 million ins and outs, and it's basically his team now. But I think it was very toxic at the end. Luton fans were sitting sacked in the morning, but we're not going to do that 3 weeks after the transfer window. But I'm going to sound like a stuck record, but the 5 at the back, 3 centre halves, whatever you like to call it, that is, if Saturday was so bad that is the straw that broke the camel's back, and then we go to 4 at the back, then there might some good come out of Saturday, but I can't see any at the moment.
There were lots of tweets I could pull up this week. I've tried to find the ones which are semi-pleasant. Kevin Larry says, no fight, no passion, with no identity, clueless transfers and only an owner who sees pound signs. We're going to enjoy our shiny new £20,000 seat stadium. Hosting non-league football. We're a joke, a laughingstock, and we want our club back. Yeah, the fans have had enough. Can you blame them?
Mark, as you know, I'm one of the more positive people on this podcast, but even after Saturday's performance, I found it unacceptable. It was extremely disappointing, and even at halftime, it was pretty ridiculous. It got better just before halftime and just after halftime. But I don't think the fans need to accept it, and I do feel sorry for Mark and a whole lot of other guys that spend a hell of a lot of money to get to all these games, who are passionate, who are fighting every single week for a subpar performance. And even the players admit it. Clark even admitted afterwards that he doesn't think all the players are showing the passion that they should have for it. Something is wrong. He's admitting something is wrong. You asked other Mark, Nana, should we get rid of Bloomfield? Let's go back. We've got rid of the manager already. We've got rid of the coaches. We've got rid of 3/4 of the squad. All of those people, Rob Edwards, top of the log in the championship, best start ever for Middlesbrough. Our players are doing brilliant. They fought with all their heart for Charlton on Saturday. Bell, Burke, all of these people. Maybe they weren't the problem. Maybe something's deeper. Maybe we really can't focus at the top on construction, on building a stadium, on building that. I don't think it's Bloomfield's fault. However, I do agree that the fans should be upset this week and very, very disappointed.
How many games has he got for you then, Kevin, before this becomes completely untenable?
Well, he's got 4 wins and 4 losses this year. Last year as well, he started off very badly, did excellently, lost the last game. And I guess that's with any fan around the world, whether it's here, whether it's there, is you're useless if you cannot put the wins together. When you get a couple of wins together, you're the messiah. You lose one game, you're horrible. Let's face it, he's not a bad manager. He's a brilliant manager. What he did last year at the other club, Wickham, was brilliant. What he's done for us is great. But when you don't get it from the players, when your players aren't passionate enough, when there's something wrong at the top, there's only so much you can do. Rob Edwards was not a bad manager. There was only so much you can do. He's proved over and over again Rob, as well, he's not a bad manager. So there's something else wrong. I would probably give it another 5 to 6 games at least. And if he's not successful, well, we can't wait too long either.
Yeah, because you waited too long, Mark, didn't you, last time? And look, this is where you are. Ben points out we need an experienced manager to get us out of this mess. It's woeful. Bloomfield has had 9 months now. There's no sign of a style that works. We may well have gone backwards since January. It is time to go. He comes across as a decent man, Mark, and look, I'm never out for calling managers out, but when the fans are saying there's no style, you have to question, don't you, whether has he been able to implement because at Wickham he had a style, it was very clear identity. Has he not been able to do that because of personnel, or why aren't we seeing this work?
As you know, I'm a stats man, and I like to come up with stats, but you also, it's what you see with your eyes. And I've almost resigned to not being entertained on a Saturday or whenever the game is. I think the most telling stat Sky had is that we've created 4 big chances this season. Now, whatever Sky recognises a big chance, I presume it means an open goal, but that 4 in 8 games, and that's the lowest in the I was going to say the Championship. How I wish in League One. But I mean, yes, it's not great, and some of the selections are confusing. I think everyone's crying out for Shayden Morris to start. Then we found out after the game that Makoso had missed the team meetings, that he got dropped. Then we had to put Mengi back in. Apparently Mengi wants to be at the club. I'm not going to comment on that. But for me, the whole thing about Bloomfield is, as Kevin said, we've changed the players. We had this problem last year. We've changed most of the squad. And I'd just like to some quotes from Jordan Clark, who is Mr. Luton. He's the heartbeat of the side. He said, something's not right. Nothing to do with the tactics. It's what's inside. It doesn't look like it means enough. Before the game, everyone's saying the right things, but we're not doing the basics. Now, all of those comments can't solely be down to Matt. Yes, he's the manager and he takes the buck, but the players are not helping him at all. And yes, he's got a certain amount of time, but he'll be given time. And yeah, I just think sometimes he doesn't help himself, but he's not being supported by the players are letting him down. And that first 25 minutes on Saturday was probably the most inept, like not being able to pass a ball 5 yards. I think playing in green, you'd have thought they'd be able to see each other, and then to add insult to injury, you look on the other side in red striped shirts, and then you've got 2 players that were the cornerstone of when we got promoted out of League One, James Collins and Sonny Bradley, who would run through brick walls for you. And yeah, they would easily get into the side now. But yeah, I just feel it's if we've hit rock bottom and then something changes, but something's got to change, because we kept saying, oh yeah, we won't go down in the Championship. And finally, my own other thing was, we need time to gel. How many games does it take to have all those new players gelling? It's basically been 8 games. Is it 10 games? Is it 20 games? I think that excuse is wearing a bit thin now. They've had a pre-season, and yeah, it's how long does it take for new players to gel when they're on the training ground every week?
Yeah. Kevin, when we see the side at Doncaster, or it's 2:00 and we look at the team, we're expecting to see a 4 at the back now, aren't we? I don't think he's got to change it. He daren't keep with this system. It's just, he might as well go for it. What's he got to lose?
Well, I guess most managers prefer to fall on their own sword. And I think sometimes if you listen to too much noise outside, I think it could be a problem. And I think Mark said it correctly. No. sometimes what your eye sees is not the stats. And if we look at the stats again this week, we had 57% possession, 13 shots. The accuracy of the passing was better than theirs. Ours was 78%, theirs was 69%. Successful touches in the last third, believe it or not, 95% for us, 56% from them. Almost every single stat is in our favor. Corners, all of that, shots. However, Mark is 100% correct. Does that look like it when you're watching the game? Absolutely not. The balls look like they're going there. I don't know. He seems like, once again, like Rob, he seems like a brilliant, decent man who's trying to be honest with the players and that kind of stuff. I don't know how much outside noise you listen to or whether he's got the players to change the style at this point, because the stats are there. What more must you do except score the goals and stop making horrendous errors at the back? Because once again, 3 goals given away, they opened us up easily. Just horrible mistakes. So I don't know if he's willing to listen to the outside noise. I guess he'll have to.
He will have to, won't he? Because otherwise, it's almost like he's asking to be sacked. Just a question on this one, Mark. Jamie says this is worse than Edwards' ball. At least last season, it felt like the strikers were letting us down. Now we don't even create anything anymore. Is it worse than what you were watching around November, Christmas time last year?
I would say it is. I mean, like I said, we always reference back to Middlesbrough. At least we were in that game for half an hour. But yeah, I mean, if you look at, I suppose you can it's the glass half full or half empty. But the teams that have given us a challenge, we've lost them. The games we've won, Wimbledon, we won by an own goal, and the 2 sides we've dominated were Burton and Peterborough, who were two of the probably poorest sides in the league. I think the other thing that infuriates fans is just like playing players out of position. That's sometimes it's enforced on you because of injuries, and obviously with Makoso has been dropped for disciplinary reasons, that changed. But yeah, I just think it's just come to a point now, and we saw the same thing last year. I think it is worse because the standard is in League One. You've got to win the battles. You can do all the pretty stuff after you've won the battles, and without George Saville is the shining light that's basically trying to win the battles. But you can't play the football. Matt wants to play with wingers who get the balls into the box, and that's how he wants us to score goals. But I just think we almost need to be a bit nasty and a bit horrible. I mean, when we went up the last time in League One, the core of that team was Sonny Bradley, dare I mention it. Then basically you had James Collins up front, and we had a spine in that team, and I think we just need to win the battles before we can start thinking about playing the football.
Okay, all right. All right then. To finish off this debate, then, Kevin, finish the sentence for me, please. The club should not sack Matt Bloomfield this week because
we've changed so much already, and yet it hasn't changed the main thing, and that's to win. We've changed everything already.
Mark, the club should not sack Matt Bloomfield this week because...
Just for reasons I've said earlier, that we're 3 weeks out of a closed window. He's got the players he wants to get in, and we don't. Yes, I know Rob Edwards probably left too late, but we're not like that lot down the road where we sack a manager because the sun's facing west. But no, he won't go, and you can tell by his interview, it was a hard interview to watch, and he's like really gutted the performance, and I think there's nobody that wants to succeed more than he does, and he'll be given time because that's what we do. So let's see how it goes. But maybe, like I said, Lincoln was a watershed moment where that was like, we can't play any worse. That was worse than Middlesbrough by a long way.
Okay, right. Let us know what you think in the comments. We can share some people typing away now furiously on the keyboards. Finally, this week, then, a bit of a positive. We're trying to think of a player who deserves more credit than what we've given them so far. And it's going to be difficult in current circumstances. But Kevin, who has impressed in glimmers this season for you?
I'm going to give you two, if you don't mind. And they are the two bright sparks. And I'm sorry, Mark, if I'm stealing one of your two. And I probably am. Obviously, Clark and Saville. One is that those are the two that it feels like they've got the passion to fight for Luton. You could see, and as Mark said, Clark was devastated. He could barely look at the camera. It was his birthday, I think, yesterday, and he can feel it. Saville is the only one that's really trying to win that second ball, who's going out there and showing some spine. So those are my two, week in, week out. They're very consistent. I think that's the most important thing, consistent performance. We often speak about this week, this person was good, next week, this person. They've been consistently good and actually have been scoring the goals when it's important as well.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Kevin. Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say John Clark because every time there's a shocking performance, Paul Jordan is the one that's got to face up to the interviews and he's been sent out. He's the most experienced player. He's basically the heartbeat of the team. But I also think we've amongst everything else, and I agree with Saville and Josh Keeley looks like he's a great keeper. But I also think that we've got a lot of youngsters. Zach Nelson is his first proper season where he's getting a run in the side. Makoso, loads of young players coming through, and you've just got to think the confidence is so low that we've got to be careful with these young players that they don't get. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, we basically got to look after those young players. But yeah, I'm sort of sidetracking, but yeah, John Clark, he gives everything every week. He chips in with the goals, and you can never question his work rate, and you can tell how much it means just by that interview.
Okay. Mark, can I add one thing? Because I think what you said is great, and I know we need to finish now. I think he's the one player that's been there from the bottom, played at Premier League, and he's given everything the same he's giving now that he gave at Premier League. He looks like he wants to be there. And very few players who can say it. And I think that's the difference. Whether he was at Premier League or now, he's giving 100%.
I've sorry for dipping in, but I've always believed, whether it's people agree or not, and probably most don't, but I've always believed that no player wants to go out there and say, I want to play badly. They all want to play, but for whatever, they all want to try. And I don't think nobody's not trying, but for whatever reason, there's something badly wrong and nobody can put the finger on it because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Okay. Good discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We hope the other side of the Doncaster game will be able to talk to you, a bit more positively than we have this week. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is it time for him to go, or are you on Kevin and Mark's side? I wonder how many people we will find that are. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Have a good week, everyone.